recommend that your competitors or dancers go and upskill in other styles as well to better help their
Look,
competition?
look. The good news is that back then, the definition or the way they instructed someone in salsa or any of the social dances was not very well defined. There was still adding things. There was still whatever in the mix. I mean, Mambo was honest. Mambo came in on the 40s and 50s, right? And then the 60s, it was still around, right? And then in the 70s, we made this transformation because the salsa scene came in, the music. Then, of course, the recounting of Mambo became salsa. You understand?
Right.
Because Mambo is 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. You understand? So the 2 and the 6 is the emphasis, but you're starting on that. It isn't 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. You understand? So it changed the dynamic. Also, we used to stand, because I learned it that way. The male used to go forward on 2, like you do when you do shines.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same thing. But now the male goes back. Well, that wasn't around in the early 70s. That's not the way we dance. We always dance going back in New York, because that's the way I learned it. I didn't go forward. Okay. You know, so that's my experience, right?
Yeah.
But now it's been so well defined. It's teachable, really, really teachable. It's got a great technique. The technique is very visible if you practice the technique. So that's a form of training. Right. You understand? So you can get a pure salsero that has really good training, and he's going to look fantastic, right? Yeah. Without having to take the ballet. But I will say one thing: ballet training, the flexibility, the awareness it gives you about your body, will give you longevity. It will keep you dancing longer. You avoid injury. There's a lot of benefits from dancing ballet. It's not just to create a toe. You know, point your toe. You know what I mean? Everybody thinks, you know, that's what it is. No, there's a lot more to it, right? But I think a combination of the most interesting combination I like is like a person like Alian. It's like one that does salsa, but one that does Afro, one that does rumba, one that could do salsa, but study ballet. And she has like the combined thing that when I look at a dancer, I'm saying, wow, look at this girl. You know, Tamara is another one that has formal training. There's a lot of girls that have formal training, but also have good salsa training and enhance that with some of the other trainings of Afro and all that. So I think all of it is good. It's just a matter of what your body can and cannot do, or what you're willing to train in. But do I think that you have to? No, you don't have to. You don't have to. I do think you have to polish your routine. I think you need a coach. I think you need someone to help you come to that place, right? But even if you train, you might not know what to do.
So if you had to give a dancer 3 tips to improve their competition dancing, what 3 tips would you give them?
To me, okay, of course you have to train in the particular dance you're doing. So let's say, you know, if you're going to do salsa, then dance salsa a lot. You know, like I remember when I trained in ballet and jazz and modern, I would be doing 4 minimal hours a day. And I did that for like 10 years. You know, But then at the same time, I was also teaching martial arts. So I was staying fit. I mean, more fit than the dancing was making me fit. So, you know, I believe that, in my opinion, the physicality of whatever you're doing has to be taken out in order for you to perform it and be an artist or a competitor. And that's the one thing, that's the one tip I give everyone. If you want to come into this arena and you want to compete, then show it like it's not, go like this. The minute you do that 2-minute routine, you should not be sweating. You should not be breathing hard. You should be ready to do it again. Yeah. And that becomes, you know, and I see couples, I can't believe it, because, you know, I've been dancing a really long time, okay? I would say about 47 years, right? And for most of that time, when I was contracted to do a show, I'm doing 10 shows a week. And the show was an hour and a half. So I was doing big production numbers. You understand? This thing about going out and doing a 2-minute act and thinking that that's a big deal, that you know, you're sweating and you're breathing hard. No, that's pitiful, in my opinion. I look at that and that's pitiful. Are you kidding me? You know, you're a dancer. There's supposed to be athletic gracefulness. You should be able to do. You should be graceful. That's big, but you have to be athletic and you have to be in shape. You know, you can't go out there. I'm 63. I'll swallow 2 minutes. I'll do 2 minutes like it's nothing. It's ridiculous. And so when I hear young kids, I see them sweating, and that's bad. And I see it a lot in competition. Don't get me wrong. Towards the end of their, let's say they do 1:45, their last 15 seconds, they're dying. You can see it. You can see it.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm saying, okay, is he worthy of being a champion? Is that worthy? No. And the material might be great, right? The choreography might be great. The musicality might be great. But if this guy is slugging around, barely, you know, can walk, having a hard time, that's like the biggest tip I have. I mean, I have a few other things, but they're not politically correct, so I don't know if I should say them. I'm only kidding. You know. I mean, costumes, you know, it's important that you have costumes that fit, of course. That's part of your whole presentation, you know.
Are there any places in particular that stand out to you that you go,
yeah,
okay, they're doing really good work here?
Yeah, Mexico.
Yeah?
Yeah. To me, in overall, they are becoming some of the best competitors in the world. You know, the rest of the world doesn't get to see them because a lot of them can't leave.
Yeah.
You know, they can't go up. But they are terrific. They're basic. I mean, when I watch the males basic, especially, it's the males that get me. They step out everything, and it's very clear and very even. They're basic. It's not like the one half of the basic is you know, where you have the ball on your heel and you progress forward. It is an actual back break. It is an actual forward break. It's an actual bend to straighten action. Their hips are engaged. Their whole counter body is fluid, and it looks natural.
Right.
You know, and I look at their ability of their hands. They're very sharp. You know, yeah, that every year I go back, I always see more and more. And I'm talking about the lower ranks. I'm not even talking about the upper people. I'm talking about, you know, that's how you know a community, right? You're only as good as the ones over here, the majority, right? The majority of people. So when you look out into a social evening, let's say, you know, at night, Saturday night or Friday night, where you look at the general population dance, that's where you can tell where the community is at.
Right.
You know, really. I mean, you know, of course you have your top pros. Of course they're going to be good. But it's everyone else that comes underneath them. How good are they? How's the information been transferred? How is it, you know, going? And Mexico is like incredible. And they're young. And they're so young.
That's very true, yeah.
Yeah, they're so young. I mean, of course, Italy, you know, it's always been good. I mean, they've always gotten the best information. Some of the best instructors moved there. You know, 10, 15 years ago, they all moved there. So they get the information. And that's important also, right? You know, who's coming, the information you're getting, is it correct? How good is it? You know, and but to me, everywhere I go, in Mexico. Now, one of the places that I love, now I rarely social dance, but when I do, I have different experiences. You know, sometimes they're terrible, sometimes they're great. But Korea, I went there one year, and there I danced for 4 nights in a row, to the early morning. Yeah, Oliver was with me that weekend, and we danced we closed the club every single night, because the women, I couldn't feel their arms. You know what I mean? It was just so wonderful.
That light. Wow.
Oh man, it was so wonderful. You could execute almost any turn pattern with fluidity of their bodies. You know, it wasn't like pushing someone. They didn't contract their arms. They were not pushing you. They weren't aggressive, friendly. It was really fun, a lot of fun. So Korea for me was socially. Huh?
In Seoul, in the capital?
Yeah. Was it Seoul? I can't remember. Spin, the promoter, took me there. Can't remember. You know, it's a long time ago. Long time ago. Like I told you, I don't want to remember too much.
And was it for a competition or for like a congress?
No, it was a congress. It had a congress. But he would have, it was funny, because we would do the congress shows and everything somewhere, and then we would go to this club to social dance. So it was the same club to social dance.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the same club. These tickets by bus.
Right.
Yeah, like that. It was, but that was really terrific.
Okay.
And a lot of people look at me and they say, how come he doesn't social dance? He's never out here. Well, there's a reason for it, to be honest with you. I mean, no, seriously. I mean, I got a hip operation a year and a half ago.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah, and now I'm pain free. But for 10 years, I had been performing, competing, traveling with a hip that was so bad. I was limping. I was limping all over the place, but I was afraid to get the operation. I don't know what it was going to do to me. I just was scared. I mean, I'm glad I did it, but it actually took my turnout away. So you see my right foot's like this, and my left foot is like this. So it's no longer like this.
Right, okay.
And I have to now work, and I'm afraid to work it because I might injure it or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm in my head. But, so for the last 10 years, I couldn't social dance. And even if I wanted to, I couldn't. I was in so much pain, So there's a reason for it.
Definitely.